It's Adam Lavelle here for Mount Ararat podcast on the Noah Network. We're going to look at today's Pro Wrestling Noah show, Star Navigation from Korak and Hall here on September 14th. The first matchup was Yu Owada taking on Daiki Odashima. Odashima is the new young lion, if you will, in Pro Wrestling Noah. And let me tell you something, this kid was over. This crowd loved him. I can't recall the last time. Maybe Kaito Kiyomiya was the last young lion, the last rookie I can remember getting this kind of response from the crowd. And I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but it was pretty exciting to see. Odashima has great admiration for Taman Honda, who was on commentary today as a guest star. And the kid, Odashima, really seemed to be motivated by that. The great Noah-born wrestler from the golden era, if you will, because he put on a show here. He really went toe-to-toe with Owada. Now, Owada is 1 year senior to Odashima, and that's a long time in pro wrestling Noah. You know, you've been pounded and beaten around by your seniors and by the heavyweights for a year, and Odashima just now coming in, right? There's a big difference there. But Odashima, I mean, you felt like there could have been an upset. Of course, there was not. Owada locked him in the Boston Crab, and Odashima taps out. And, of course, Taman Honda at ringside embraces him and congratulates him on a good match. And the crowd continues to stand on their feet and cheer for this kid. I mean, it was something to behold. It really was. I don't want to light him up to be, you know, the next Kaito Kiyomiya necessarily. I mean, who knows what this kid has in him and where he will go. But he had some excellent drop kicks, some great forearms. I mean, he nailed his drop kick incredibly well all match long, pretty much right in the face of Owada, and really looked like I said, he could have scored the upset, especially when he locked in. I can't remember the name of the move, but it's that like reverse vice grip around the neck and arm of your opponent. You'll see it in one of my pictures sliding by here. It was a great looking move, and Owada looked like he could have been in trouble. But and especially after the move is broken up, that this rookie, this young kid Odashima, then gets a German suplex on Owada. But again, Owada locks in that backbreaker, that Boston Crab, sorry, if you will, and the kid has to tap out. But the story of this was a great performance by Owada. I don't want to sidestep that and act like, you know, he doesn't deserve some credit. But the story of this was Daiki Odashima seemingly going to be a big deal. We'll have to wait and see where he goes after this one. It was impressive. Adam Lavelle, the Noah Network, Mount Ararat podcast, looking at Star Navigation from earlier today, September 14th, 2024. We're at the second match. The former GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Shuji Kondo and Eita taking on Shuhei Taniguchi and Kai Fujimura, which is an interesting team. The story here was the former tag team champions, the light heavyweight tag team champions, taunting Taniguchi as much as they could, but keeping him out of the ring. When big old Taniguchi was in there, the former champions Kondo and Eita took every opportunity to double team him and keep him from being very effective at all. So he then would tag his partner in, Kai Fujimura, and Kondo and Eita pretty much dominated him. Now, that is not putting Kai Fujimura down. He's an excellent wrestler. But look, when you're in there against the former junior tag champs and they're working you over in their anger and their frustration, having lost those titles to Yohei and Hayata, what are you going to do? You know, he did everything he could to get to his partner, to get big old Taniguchi in there. But every time he would get close, no, it would be foiled. The former champs, Kondo and Eita, would knock big old Taniguchi off the ring apron, or they would pull Kai Fujimura away from his partner quickly as they could. Even when it seemed like the hot tag was coming, they would thwart it. And that allowed them to pretty much, I don't want to say easily, but kind of easily win this match. Now, Taniguchi did get in there and get that body slam that he does where he picks one guy up from the opposing team and slams him down, then the other guy and slams him down on top of him, then his own tag team partner and slams him on top of them. He did get that move in, but then he would run back. He was in there illegally to do it. He would run back and want the tag, and look, Eita and Kondo weren't having it. They were not going to allow Fujimura to get the tag, and he did not get the tag, and he goes down. He is beaten. He is defeated here, and the champions revel in it and continue to tease Taniguchi, who could do nothing about it. He did sort of embrace Fujimura, and I thought maybe he'd be angry at him, or maybe even slam him around a little bit for the loss, but he didn't do that. But Kondo and Eita had a plan going in, and that was to frustrate and anger Taniguchi, but keep him from coming in and take care of Fujimura. And that's exactly what happened here. It was entertaining to watch. It was kind of fun. It was kind of enjoyable, but if you don't like Kondo and Eita, you're going to hate this, because their plan worked to perfection, and they win rather easily, but I think in an enjoyable match. Adam Lavelle, the Noah Network, Mount Ararat Podcast, coming back at you, talking about Star Navigation from September 14th, 2024. Third match. That match was a good one. It was the Rebellion, Keno, Alejandro, and Cristobal, taking on Marufuji, Segura, and Kitamiya. And the story of this match, I always like to point out what I'm really getting out of these matches other than excellent wrestling. And the story in this one was Keno versus Marufuji. Something's up there. Marufuji taunting Keno numerous times by going down to a knee and sticking his fist out, stealing Keno's pose. And you know how annoyed that's going to make the already and always annoyed Keno, right? And it certainly did. And it led to them dominating most of this match, meaning those two were in there against each other most of the time. Now, don't misunderstand me. Alejandro and Cristobal got some good time in. I think they're an excellent junior tag team. I really think they could win the GHC junior tag titles, or individually the GHC junior title, and they did a good job here. But come on, against Marufuji, Segura, and Kitamiya especially, they were having a rough time. They were doing well. They got in there against Kitamiya and Segura a few times and hit some of their good flying moves, and their quickness sort of took the big guys off balance. But generally, it's going to be tough for a smaller junior tag team or even single wrestlers to overcome the ridiculous strengths of the other three men, especially Segura and Kitamiya. And that's not putting Marufuji down in any way, but, you know, he isn't mostly known for his strength. He's known for his quickness, his athletic ability, almost being able to wrestle like a junior, but being bigger and more powerful, right? But not a power wrestler. You get what I'm saying? And again, it was him and Keno in there. It wasn't often that Marufuji was in there against Alejandro or Cristobal. A little, but not much. The hyper focus here, Keno and Marufuji, they are setting something up. Here's what I'm pondering and just throwing out there as a theory, as a thought, as an idea. I have no idea. I have no inside information here, of course. But is this leading to Keno versus Marufuji in a random singles match? Or is this leading to Keno picking a partner from the Rebellion to take on Marufuji and Segura for their tag team titles? Now, if that's the case, I think there would be a new member to the Rebellion coming before long, because, you know, Alejandro and Cristobal are good, but again, they're juniors, and I think they'll do excellent in that division, but they're not going to win titles against Marufuji and Segura, not right now anyway. So I could see them looking for a third partner, a heavyweight, other than Keno and Kaito Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya's busy defending that GHC title, and I don't want him being a double champion, not because he doesn't deserve it, but I just don't like that most of the time. I think titles need individual holders. That's just my opinion. So could we see that coming? This match was very entertaining, somewhat funny without being a comedy match, just at how much Marufuji was annoying Keno. But Masa Kitamiya, he wants to impress, because he, you know, spoiler for later on, he definitely wants a GHC world title shot, so he's going to want to be impressive here, and he was pretty much single-handedly taking out Cristobal and Alejandro toward the end of this match and hitting the Saito suplex on Cristobal for the win, in an entertaining, fun matchup that told the story of Keno and Marufuji clashing soon. Singles match, tag match, what do you guys think? I enjoyed this for what it was, though, for sure. Hey, the fourth match on Star Navigation, September 14, 2024, Pro Wrestling Noah, was a wild lucha six-man matchup. I'm Adam Lavelle, WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Noah Network, Mount Ararat Podcast. This matchup saw El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. teaming with his brother, Del Mal. I can't remember his first name, and the picture I have saved here just has a G, so forgive me. And Daga taking on Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, and Super Crazy. Now, those of you who followed me long, or even just a little bit here recently, know I'm not a crazy about Lucha. Yeah, the Noah fans do chant for it. I got to give them that. I don't hate it, okay? I like them individually or just as a regular tag team here in Noah, but when they have straight Lucha matches where it's all over the place, the referee is completely ignored, it's not my favorite match. I watched this and enjoyed it for what it was. Here's how I can generally be okay with it in Noah. It's a rarity. You know what I'm saying? It's not every match. It's not multiple matches a show. It's not always even one match a show. So when it's there, I go with the flow and I don't get on here and gripe, and I am not an old man yelling at the clouds like I can be. Okay. But this crazy Lucha stuff isn't for me. Are they talented? Yes. Do I like every single man in this match, including Super Crazy? Yes. I like them. I not only respect them, I like them. I just don't like this style of match all that much. It's just, they might as well, all six, just get in the ring and go at it. I mean, why not? It wasn't as crazy as the last one that I made this complaint about, but it was still crazy. I am loving Wagner Jr.'s brother. I mean, he is a sight to behold. I'm a fan of Wagner Jr. as well, but his brother is such a beast, and they said today he's only 23 years old. Damn, this guy's got a future. Not just because he's big, but if you're big and working in Noah, you're going to learn how to work. A big, strong guy that knows how to work is a gift to the wrestling industry, and I absolutely love it. Now, I don't really know how to cover this match hold for hold, move for move, or even attempt it. There was a cool spot where the brothers and Daga got a hold of all three of their opponents at the same time. You'll see the picture as it slides by here. And Wagner's brother has one of the opponents in a backbreaker. I think it's Alpha Wolf. And while Daga and Wagner Jr. have Super Crazy. And no, it's Dragon Bane in the backbreaker holding Alpha Wolf's down, being held by Daga. Yeah, I just explained a picture for 5 minutes. Sorry. Because it's just move after move after move after move. And again, I'm not going to gripe. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to bitch, even though you're probably saying, well, you are, Adam. Okay. Maybe in a small way I am. But it's what it was. You got to see this. I'm not going to try to even begin to describe it. It is your typical luchador wrestling, which normally in Noah, there's some of that, but they tone it down in their singles and regular tag team matches, and I greatly appreciate it. But I respect the skills it takes to have matches like this. And Wagner Jr. and his brother Damal and Daga win this after just crazy spot fest wrestling. And again, no disrespect intended. But I got to call it like I see it. I say it's worth watching, but just know what you're getting. It's a typical luchador crazy spot fest matchup that, you know, Wagner's win and Daga. Adam Lavelle, WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Noah Network, Mount Ararat podcast. We're talking about Star Navigation. From September 14th, 2024, we are up to match number 5. This was a good one and an important one because it saw the return officially of the new Rattels. That's right. Hayata, Tadasuke, Yohei, and Yuto Kikuchi. Kikuchi, pardon me as I begin to learn how to pronounce that name, anointed by Daisuke Harada, the former leader of the old Rattels, if you will, inserting him in this group, asking the group to accept him, and they did, coming off Japan's independent wrestling scene. Pretty cool just to be brought in by Harada to join a group like the Rattels, the return of the Rattels. Pretty big deal, in my opinion. They took on Amasuka, Atsushi Katogi, Hajime Ohara, and Junta Miyawaki. And this was everything you think it would be. It's the crazy Noah Juniors tearing the house down, baby. I was anxious. I was excited to see the new guy, Yuto Kikuchi. And he looked pretty good. He looked damn good, to tell you the truth. He's fast. He's agile. He's quick. He's nimble. He did the top rope walk, you know, the infamous Undertaker top rope walk while he holds the hand of his opponent. Did it very well. Looked good. I'm not a huge fan of that move. I mean, I'm giving him kudos. It looked good. but I don't think it has much wrestling psychology. Why wouldn't your opponent just yank you down? I never understood it. Even when the Undertaker did it, the great, the mighty, the legendary Undertaker, I never liked it. I mean, it looked better with him because he was so big, so tall, so heavy, so huge. Kikuchi did it well, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense why your opponent wouldn't tear you down from the ropes. Seemed like be such an easy thing to do, especially from Junta Miyawaki, who's always wound up and excitable, and it just, I don't know. I don't like the move, but he did it well. I thought Kikuchi teamed well with the Rattels. I thought they worked together. Yohei and Hayata are back to their norm, looking like a great team that they are. I mean, they're the junior tag team champions, so of course they are. They're legendary in Noah in the junior rankings, especially with those tag team titles. I love Tadasuke's spinning toe hold, just the opposite of that rope walk, right? It's a simple little move. Looks like it's going to be the figure four, but doesn't even go that far. He just grabs your leg. I know it's been around forever. The Funks made it famous, but Tadasuke gets excited. He rips the headband off, twirls it, throws it to the crowd as he's putting it on. His opponents scream in pain like Junta Miyawaki, and it is great stuff. I mean, he put it on Asuka first. Junta Miyawaki comes in to break it up, and he gets it put on him, and they're both writhing in pain. It's just great. If you make a hold look important, it is important. And why wouldn't it hurt? You're yanking their knee. You're yanking their ankle. You're trying to injure them. You're trying to cripple them, at least temporarily, to win a match. I like the move. I also like how Harada came in here and didn't look like a flub, didn't look like a bum, wasn't the guy who lost the matchup, delivering his tilt-a-whirl backbreakers to every single member of the Rattels at one point. And when it comes to Junta Miyawaki, I feel like he is going to be a star of this division eventually. I mean, he has his excursion, so you think it would be now, but he has sort of a new look, a hipper, like kind of a, I don't know what to call it, a Japanese hippie kind of look to it, like a 60s kind of look, but it works. It makes him stand out, and he's really good. He's always been good, and I think eventually he's going to get a break, and he's going to be a star in this division. I really do. It was nice to see Katogi back. He hit a wonderful running bulldog on Yohei, which looked like it could have won the match, but did not. He also hit a cutter on Yohei, which didn't end the match, but looked like it could have. So Katogi's back, and he looked really good here, and that's refreshing to see, coming off an injury from the N1 tournament. At one point, every man in this match was in the ring. For a minute, it looked like a lucha match. Not really, but for this moment it did. And it was just chaos going on. And we had Kikuchi running out and delivering the tope suicida onto his opponents outside the ring, which allowed Yohei to deliver a ridiculously good drop kick to the face of Katoge. And that led to the pinfall. I love that too. When moves as simple as a standing drop kick can end a match, because Yohei's drop kick is incredible looking. The person who receives it looks like they were hit from a shotgun and just sells it remarkably, as did Katogi here as he goes down, giving the win to the new Rattels. Look, I was a big Rattel fan. I'm excited for this. This Kikuchi is no Harada for sure, but I'm really excited to see where they go with him. I would think Hayata would be the leader of this group, surely, and it works together, even though he's the least social of them all. They always have to pretty much encourage him to come over and just pose for a picture or do some kind of a pose, but he does, even though sometimes he seems reluctant in doing it, because that's just his personality. This was a fun match. It was nice to see the Rattels win. They could have easily lost, because, this group they faced was incredible. Masuka, former GHC junior champion, Ohara, multi-time champion, numerous different championships. Katogi went into the heavyweight division and represented himself well, and I think Miyawaki's on his way up. But it was the Rattels who took control with their teamwork and won this matchup, and that was nice to see for sure. Are you guys excited for the return of the Rattels? Do you like it? Do you think they should have called themselves something else? I don't know. I'm trying to get a gist for what the fandom thinks of it. I know sometimes on Reddit they aren't crazy about stuff like this, but sometimes I think Reddit people, no offense to those of you listening, get their panties in a wad a little too easily. Noah is great, and I love this, and I can't wait to see where the Rattels go. That's just me, at least. Adam Lavelle, WrestlingDoneRight.com, Mount Ararat podcast on the Noah Network, baby. We are talking about Star Navigation from September 14, 2024. We are at the co-main event of the evening. I absolutely love this. I mean, I love it because it's Noah, and I freaking love Noah, obviously. It's wrestling done right. It's the only thing I will call wrestling done right out there. Marigold could be on the way. We'll have to wait and see. That's another discussion. I love this because Ulka Sasaki, the current, at the beginning of this match, I guess I'm giving it away, GHC national champion, and Manabu Soya, his challenger, they represent two types of wrestlers that I absolutely love the most. Technical wrestlers, stepping in from MMA, like Ulka Sasaki. I love his charisma. I love his look. I love this. I don't know a whole lot about Japanese culture, though I'm fascinated by it. Why don't I read up on it? I don't have time, really. I would like to, but between covering this and I cover something called Armored MMA here in America, where they fight in night armor. It's another discussion altogether. If you want to ask me about it, please feel free. But I talk about that on another TikTok channel of mine, page, whatever TikTok's called. But I love the Japanese culture. I love the samurai sword. I love the mask with the giant nose, which I assume is some type of phallic symbol. I don't know. I don't care. I love how Ulka Sasaki comes out looking like some type of crazy drunken master warrior or something. I just love it. I love that kind of stuff. It's just something you don't see here in the States. And it could get ridiculous, but Sasaki doesn't make it ridiculous. He makes it sort of cool and badass. I like it. I like Manabu Soya. I've watched Manabu Soya since Wrestle 1 when he looked like a big caveman. Hair everywhere, beard. I mean, he just looked like a big, hulking caveman. And he's come so far since then. He was good then. I enjoyed him then. But his journey has been a story in and of itself that I absolutely love, cherish, and adore. And I've been waiting for him to become a bigger deal. And here's his chance. He's had many chances. I thought he was going to be Keno for the GHC title. And I love Keno. And I would not wanted him to lose that title. But if he would have to Soya back when they wrestled a few months ago, I would have been fine with it because Soya is coming along in a major way. I mean, even though he's getting older, he has a great look. He's bigger and badder than ever, clean cut now, looking like a champion. And these two tore into each other in what could have been a styles clash, and I guess was, but it was a styles clash that works. Sasaki, much smaller, but quicker and more, I don't want to say more trained, but trained in these killer instinct MMA styles, where Manabu Soya is trained in a way that just bowls you over and takes you out. With his Death Valley driver, with his sort of modified go to sleep, with his ridiculous powerful chops, which, a headbutt he threw in there. He is the man. Sasaki takes incredible punishment for all the bigger he is, because he's just trying to sort of sleek around and lock in a leg hold, lock in a knee bar, lock in an ankle lock. God forbid he locks you in that chokehold. If you get in that chokehold, you're pretty much done. But Manabu Soya got out of it in this match, which was a sign of things to come, in my opinion. Sasaki nailed several ridiculous kicks to Soya, who just responded with like double chops at the same time. And like I said, that headbutt and those ridiculous clotheslines. But at one point, Soya came in for a spear, and Sasaki just lifted his knees and kneed the big man in the head. And boy, he took that hard. And I thought it was over, because at that point, Sasaki locked in some ridiculous leg lock, some sort of like modified Indian death lock, a reverse upside down figure 4. I don't know what to call it, but it looked ridiculous. And Soya managed to get in the ropes, only to get kicked in the head after that. But then Soya delivered, like I said, a sort of a modified go to sleep. But Sasaki survived that, and that's when he got that chokehold on. And look, there aren't many, if there were any, that's gotten out of that chokehold once he's managed to apply it. His grip is ridiculous. Those long, thinner arms fit under your chin and on your Adam's apple and just crushes it into itself, and you can't breathe. It doesn't matter how much bigger and stronger you are. If you can't breathe, you got to give up. But instead, Manabu Soya stood up while in that lock and changed that chokehold basically into one of his Death Valley drivers, followed by a ridiculous clothesline, an amazing jumping DDT, and those three moves in succession won him The GHC National Championship, a title I also like very much. I mean, I am having a replica GHC heavyweight title made. I'm a big fan of it, but one day maybe I'll get a national title as well. I love that red strap. I love the look at it. I love the men who have held this title are some of the best men in all of professional wrestling, and now it's in the hands of Manabu Soya, which is always a great thing. He stands and celebrates with it, and he calls out his first challenger. He calls out his first challenger. His first challenger doesn't come out to him. He calls out El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. and pretty much says, I'm going to offer you a title shot. And Wagner gets the crowd to chant Mexico, basically, and shakes the hand of Soya. And the match is set. I didn't write the date down like a fool, but it's like October 14th, somewhere in there, like about a month away. We're going to see this incredible match. The former national champion, the former GHC heavyweight champion, El Hijo the Dr. Wagner Jr. against Manabu Soya for that red belt. And I love it. And I love this match. Match of the night. We got one more to talk about. But for me, this was the match of the night for me and my tastes. Absolutely thought it was great. We are up to the main event from Star Navigation, September 14th, 2024. I'm Adam Lavelle, the wrestling snob of WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Noah Network, Mount Ararat podcast. That main event was not for the GHC Championship, but it did have the GHC champion in there, Kaito Kiyomiya, taking on Ryohei Oiya. Oiya is most likely headed back to New Japan, which is where he came from. He did, you can't really call it an excursion, but he came on over to Noah to be more trained, to be more prepared for his time in the New Japan ring, which makes sense. You know, let's teach him the Noah style, and then we can bring him over here and teach him the strong style that we have, even more than he's already been taught in the dojo there. So Oiya has spent the past year in Pro Wrestling Noah, and he's looked really solid. It started out with him pretty much working together with Kaito Kiyomiya. They seem to possibly be heading for the Tag Team Championship, the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team titles, but that sort of dissolved when Kiyomiya decided to go back after and obtain the GHC Heavyweight Championship. So in a way, I kind of expected this match to be for the title, but it was not. Not the end of the world, but might have added a little bit to it. This match started out, I mean, the whole match was slow-paced, and if you know me, you know I have no problem with that. I kind of prefer slow-paced matches. I don't like video game-paced matches. You know, I don't like matches that look like they're like the fast-forward button was hit on the remote control. That's not my thing. So I have no problem with that. But I did gripe a little bit on Twitter that the first 5, 6, 7 minutes of this, the majority of it was spent outside the ring. I'm like, come on, this is not a Minoru Suzuki match. You know, I'm not a big fan of outside the ring, especially between two guys that I don't think they hate each other. I don't think there's, especially when you saw the end of this match, I guess the argument is that the spirit of victory, that the desire to win overcame them, and they were willing to do anything and go anywhere. Not the end of the world. It's not ruin this match in any way whatsoever, but I watch wrestling to see a match fought inside the squared circle, not out in the arena floor. Yeah, that might be funny coming from someone from a fan of Bruiser Brody, but neither of these two guys are Bruiser Brody, right? No offense to them, I'm saying that, but they're not. They're classic in-ring, solid, well-working wrestlers. And when they got back in the ring, to me, this thing got a hell of a lot more entertaining and fun to watch. Both of them, like I said, were very spirited, and they weren't wrestling, other than when they were outside the ring, like they wanted to hurt each other. But there was a spot where Oiya got a deep-seated armbar on Kiyomiya that looked like he was trying to ruin his career, looked like he wanted to pull it out of the socket. But Kiyomiya escapes and gets a couple aerial moves, including his big top rope drop kick. And at this point in the match, it's about the halfway point. At this point, both of them are exhausted, and at one point spend a minute or two just both laying on the mat. Oiya storms back and delivers a big elbow drop, a leaping elbow drop just from the mat, and then that falling body slam that he does, not body slam, but the body press that he does, where he just walks up to his opponent, outstretches his arms, and falls on top of him. Tries to go for the Dr. Bomb, does not work. Kiyomiya gets another top rope opportunity, but if you noticed, he hits him in the leg. He jumps off the top rope and stomps Oiya in the leg, setting up the figure four. Look, I'm a big fan of the figure four, just like I said earlier I was a big fan of Tadasuke's spinning toe hold. I love these old school moves, and Kiyomiya puts them on greatly. But Oya does get the ropes and break it up. Hits a big drop kick and sets Kiyomiya up for a top rope gut wrench suplex that looked incredible and did lots of damage. Kiyomiya, though, does respond with his first Shining Wizard and finishes that up with a German suplex where he does not release it and doesn't get the pin, but comes back with a running Shining Wizard and tries to get that top rope Shining Wizard that he does, where he sort of leaps off of the top rope, sort of like a spring. But Oya saw it coming and hit him with a drop kick, and it got back to Oya's advantage, and where he hits a German suplex, a non-release German suplex, but does not get the pin on Kiyomiya. And that's how this match was. I mean, both of these guys just going at each other, balls to the wall, non-stop, but both of them having the power, having the spirit, having the fighting spirit to being able to kick out. Oya finally does hit his Doctor Bomb, followed by another non-release German suplex, and that does not do it. It does not get the win for him. And I think that sort of blew Oya's mind. I sort of think that took him out of the game. Whenever that Doctor Bomb followed by a non-release German suplex does not get him the victory, he sort of lost it there. I'm not saying he snapped or anything, but I think that's where he lost the match, because it was soon after that I don't know what, I think this was a Gibson lock that Kiyomiya wins with. It's sort of like you look like you're going for like a scorpion lock, and instead you bridge backwards, holding the legs in a sort of a reverse upside down figure 4 position. I think it's called the Gibson lock, if I remember correctly. Robert Gibson used to do it. His brother used to do it way back in the day here in the States. And that is what got Kiyomiya the win. It is a great move. If done correctly, it is an amazing move that legitimately looks impossible to escape from. And it was here. Kiyomiya wins it. And then they have a big heart. He and Oya have a big heart-to-heart, the hug fest, the handshake, and Kiyomiya pays them all the respect and tells them how he'll always be part of Noah. And I'm not making fun of it. I'm just telling you what it was, kind of typical thing, but it was interesting. And it was interrupted by none other than Masa Kitamiya. Masa Kitamiya on the European tour, which we can't see yet. It's not going on Wrestle Universe for another week or two. Comes out to reinforce something that happened on the European tour, and telling Kiyomiya he is the next challenger for that title. Kiyomiya sort of nods and says, "Hey, read the room, pal." That's the interpretation of what he said. Read the room, Kiyomiya. This is not the time to come out and reiterate your challenge for this title. We're saying goodbye to Oya here, so can you please leave and get out of our faces and let us go on with what we're doing? And the hug fest continues, and the congratulations, and they pose together. I mean, this is cool. If Oya goes on to be a big star in New Japan and Kiyomiya remains on the track he's on, and one day they face off again or they team together or something, the IWGP champion and the GHC heavyweight champion, that's a good thing. That's a cool thing. That'll be something fun to see, even though I just think Noah's better than all of them. I prefer their style much, much better, but I have no problem with some historic things like that happening. Will this be a historic match? Well, we'll see where Oya goes, and it could be something that'll be looked back on fondly for many years to come until they meet again. But hey, I'm Adam Lavelle, the wrestling snob, the old man wrestling fan, the founder and the creator of the IIWC, that being the Intelligent Internet Wrestling Community. If you want to join the IIWC, if you want to be a part of us, you just got to be a fan of pro wrestling. Noah, you got to come on over, subscribe with Wrestle Universe, watch Noah, talk Noah, post about Noah. Join us in discussing the company that is the very definition of wrestling done right. You can find out more about me, what I am, who I stand for, all my social links, a little bio at WrestlingDoneRight.com. I've got a Noah Facebook page. My Twitter is mostly about Noah. I've got Noah TikTok. I mean, just come on out there. Go to Hasami's Noah's Archive. She's been doing this longer than me. She's a source that I use for many different things. She helped me pronounce some of the Noah wrestlers' names back in the day, so I appreciate her. Check her stuff out as well. And I just, again, want to thank you for joining me for Mount Ararat Podcast. I'll be back again with more videos, but if you follow me, I talk about this stuff in all of my free time because it's what I love the most. Again, I'm Adam Lavelle. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again before you know it.